So yeah, I was originally committed to Cornell. I committed to Cornell fall of my junior year, so pretty early. I was going straight into Cornell, so I wasn't doing the fraud. I wasn't doing the gap year at Cornell, so I was fully admitted in the school, moving in on August whatever. And I was super close with Koll, super close with Gabe, all those guys. Um, Mike too for sure, but definitely like a Koll guy for sure. Like he got me and my parents pretty. He's a great recruiter. Yeah. After that, I remember I got a text. My dad was telling me he's like, "Hey, don't don't let this affect you." And I was like, "What?" And he sent me whatever, Rob interviewing for Stanford position, whatever it is. Cole's like, "Hey, like, what do you think of this?" I'm like, uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't really think this is what I want to do necessarily. It's kind of hard to throw away Cornell as an option when Cornell's an Ivy League institution with great wrestling. Also, it's closer to home for me. It's
Oh, wow.
4.5 hour drive opposed to 6.5 hour flight. Um, and actually, I got recruited from Stanford early in my journey.
Yeah.
But there was some mix up for me on an official visit. They needed an SAT score, and I hadn't taken it. I hadn't taken them yet. So it was a little issue there. So that's kind of what threw Stanford out in terms of that with the old coaching staff. And then yeah, that summer Cole was like, "Hey, like I don't know, you gotta figure it out. You gotta just come." He's like, "Just come on, just come see it." I was like, "All right, like fine." And I remember getting here and yeah, Chenzo was here at the time, Grant Leith, and we're driving down Campus Drive, and me, Cole, Enoch were all seeing campus together for the first time. Like they hadn't really, the first time I went, they was also their first time going around too. So we were exploring together. So that made it cool. But Stanford's known. Stanford's like one of the most beautiful campuses in the country. Um, we drove down Campus Drive, and I was sold. I told my parents, I was like, they weren't with me at the time, but I was like, yeah, like this is insane. And then I told Coles, we figured it out, and I was like, hey, like, how do I do this with Cornell thing? Like, how do I figure this out? Because I was actually up at Cornell in the summer, like fully going. I was like invested in it, with the team and everything. And he was like, all right, like you got to tell them you're not coming. And then, well, I'd apply to Stanford too. So I applied to Stanford. I got in. That's not easy. Stanford's,
Yeah.
I mean, wrestling doesn't help very much. Um,
Right.
but luckily enough, they like my transcript, essays, all that good stuff. Got in, and then it was for the following year because we didn't have a freshman class after they cut the program. Um, so he was like, "All right, just take a gap year, live out here, and train with RCC." So that's what I did. I went out there in September with the host family for a little bit, and then got an apartment. Started doing. I was doing like car sales at a. It was actually Real Woods' old job, but he started going back to school, and I filled in for him, and I was like helping out as like a sales assistant, just like helping move cars around a lot. So I was doing that while I was training here, and then just wrestled the Open, wrestled the Bill Farrell. I went to Bulgaria once for the Dan Kolov.
Koll.
Yeah, so yeah, honestly just took a gap year, trained in the RGC, so it was pretty neat. And then got in. Obviously, that following year was my freshman year, and the plan was for me to wrestle. So that was what happened. So it's pretty funny. Yeah, a
Okay.
little gap year experience, but I came with Cole. Fast forward that year, the next year, um, new staff with Ayres, and we had Deacon at the time. Brucky came on. Gray came on halfway through the year, but that was a fun one because I knew what to expect. So the whole time, so I kind of knew like latter half of the summer, I really started to figure my stuff out, understanding what it was going to take for me to have success, just being able to see it. Because I mean, I've had a lot of close matches with good guys up to that point, and it's just piecing it together. And that's still something that is a sentiment to my journey now too. Um, but I remember going into Cliff Keen and like I forget what it was, like I don't know, 30th or whatever, and they gave me a pretty good seed. I think I was the eighth seed. I think the eighth seed. So I was actually surprised they gave me the 8 seed. Um, but yeah, winning Cliff Keen was like, yeah, I was like, okay, now I know that I can, you know, now I know like where I'm supposed to be at, you know. And then yeah, the season I think the season just got a little. I guess the season got long again. It's actually this time of year where it gets the most, the dual season where you're wrestling every week and you're, whatever, and you're wrestling tough guys. It gets a little taxing, but then I mean, I had no regrets in that second NCAA tournament. Like I liked the way I wrestled last year. Had some health stuff going on, so redshirted, and then now we're here. So I'm sure we can get into that stuff. But yeah, the first 2 years, man, I learned incredible amounts about myself.
Is the coaching change, right? Like that's a significant, that's a major thing.
Yeah,
And you came, especially considering you came over there with Rob or for Rob, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
just take me
exactly. Yeah.
through hearing that he was leaving, how that made you feel, and the transition with the new staff coming in.
Um, when I found out, I wasn't too happy. Being going with Koll kind of to Stanford, but the thing about Cole's relationship and I at the time, that he was doing what's best for him, and like I can't blame him. And conversations with my teammates and I who came here in the same situation, where it's you grow with your teammates, and you don't choose a place like Stanford for one guy or a few people. It's about the Stanford institution itself,
Yeah,
the prestige, everything that comes with it. Um, and then Ayres, I knew Ayres was a great coach. Being from the area, um, I was like, I looked at Princeton, and I knew we were going to be in fine hands. So when they announced Ayres as the coach, I called him immediately. And was like, hey, like, just want you to know, like, you got a 25-pounder that's gonna be there the whole time, and he's gonna whatever you need, is gonna be great. And he was like, he actually thought I was a Princeton parent because I have an East Coast area code, so he thought I was a Princeton parent at first, and he was very relieved when he found out it was me. But yeah, it was cool that the first year with Ayres, like he was leaning a lot on us for kind of just learning the role, because it is definitely difficult, a lot different. It's not, I mean, similar to Princeton in a way, but it is different. We're quarter system. There's a lot of loops and stuff, but he learned pretty good. And Ayres' system is fantastic. System of training. He's very methodical, and um, I've never felt better going into competitions than I did with under his regime, and I think that's a huge thing.